Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great day. So today I want to talk about the Hex Coin project and the year, as it were, in Hex Coin, right? Leading up here to now, what will be the big payday. Um, and so I also want to let all the Hexicans know that over the course of events with the Hex project, the listing of Hex through a variety of services, coin listing services I won't name, were constantly listing Hex coin at the wrong places, whether it was due to the gatekeepers of some degree or something to that effect. Um, we're here to tell you that you can come on Bitcoinmykcom, get your daily trading news, and Hexcoin is listed at spot number 16 right now on Bitcoinmykcom. So, what's really cool about Bitcoinmykcom is while you're checking up on your Hex stats, you're also going to earn our cryptocurrency, right? Just for visiting. So, well, we have all your favorite projects here that you can review. If you decide you want to trade them, you hit the trade button. We are partnered with Zapply, and we actually earn money off of when you trade your favorite cryptocurrencies. And what happens? That value gets circulated to people who use the product, right? We are a universal basic income project at our core. And Hex being here on the front page of our list of service, I think I couldn't be more happier to see it there. So, real quick history about um, the Hexcoin project, how we got involved with it. We could see very early on it was something special about Hex. Now, the journey of Hex hasn't been without its issues and without its concerns. Um, and we've always tried to cover what we believe to be products that will work, products people will need, and things people will see use in. And I think Hex did a good branding job of coming up with what we're the first certificate of deposit. Now, we've always had staking to some degree, but the way Hex marketed it and the referral programs and some of the interesting um, bells and whistles that were put on how we track uh, coins that we stake in, and this big payday thing. You know, all these little special elements here, I think, just added to the product of Hex getting to spot number 16. I had called very early on um, when the project came to light. I think I was one of the first people to talk about Hexcoin. I think I was one of the first crypto tubers to even mention Hex. If you go back, it's probably like December or November of 2000. I think I started talking late 2018 or early 2019, because remember Hex coin project got delayed a lot due to the audits, and it was always being pushed up, and it was probably like a year behind. And Richard Hart had been speaking about the Hex coin project for quite some time, and I remember just anticipating and waiting on it. Um, and it paid off to a great degree. I've earned well over $1 million in Hex just from the referral programs. I do have some stake, not as much as I like to have stake. I wish I had a really went in hard on Hex. But during the period when a lot of the um, accusations start coming up about the Ethereum and the Ethereum, being a person who was early on Hex, the Ethereum part going into the adoption amplifier, right? The way it was constructed, that was something that wasn't originally in, but it was added later. And a lot of people started to then compare Hex to being related to a scam. And I didn't think it was a scam, but I did think it was going to create that atmosphere for a lot of people when the project start taking Ethereum. I never thought Richard Hart was going to scam anybody. I always felt like even if he was behind taking the Ethereum, he was probably going to just put it back in the contracts. So that was never the problem. My concern was always due to the branding of Hex and Hex getting to in the top 10, right? And initially, I think a lot of the label of scam probably did turn a lot of potential people away from Hex that I believe maybe wouldn't have been turned away. But all in all, I think Hex still worked out pretty darn good. My prediction of it being a top 10 cryptocurrency hasn't arrived yet, but we're looking at it at spot 16, right? And so I think Hex does deserve a lot of credit for getting that far. Some of the things it's achieved. Um, Early on, I also always felt that Richard Hart was spot on with Bitcoin, that a lot of people don't use Bitcoin, that most people we know aren't using it and don't need it, and that even though the store value idea has worked for the average person, this is still something that doesn't identify with something they're going to use every day, right? It begins to feel more similar to gold. And in our lives, how we use gold, gold is purely an investment, and people do invest in gold, but a lot of people don't, and but what they do use is currencies. But the store value um, idea has worked well in cryptocurrency so far, and so it is very possible that after the big payday, Hex will enter the top 10. That is very possible because I think it's very possible that Hex can see one at least a penny after big payday, right? That would mean its market cap could just about double. And as crazy as that sounds, that is quite possible. Um, and so very, very interesting what's happening with Hexcoin. And you can see it's beating out a lot of other cryptocurrencies. But just guys, just want to check in with you all. I won't go into the big payday a lot because the big payday is just one of those things about the Hexcoin project that I did never 100% fully understood. But what I do know about it is that there is a conversion of the hex coins that are staked into shares, and these shares are going to determine how much of the unclaimed hex coin you get. From my understanding, there's only about 250,000 Bitcoin holders that claim hex, and that's another thing I would like to speak on and address is that the hex coin project. Where do you see it has having many faults and don't like Richard Hart or whatever the case may be? The one thing about it is that the Hexcoin project, you're still looking at uh, essentially a free cryptocurrency. I never purchased any Hex coins, right? I earned it all through referrals. And people claiming they're free Hex from Bitcoin. And although penalties are latched onto it now, it's still possible to do that. And this is free money. So it's kind of odd to me that only 250,000 people claim. That makes me think that either there's not that many active Bitcoin users or that there is a narrative going on with Bitcoin that I think might be a false narrative. And I think that's what got me involved with Hexcoin to begin with because Richard Hart, to me, made a lot of sense about um, people aren't going to use Bitcoin because it's volatile. That people, didn't really have an incentive or demand to use it, and then also that the people who were involved in Bitcoin didn't have an incentive to promote it because it didn't belong to anybody, right? So just a lot of things that were kind of holding Bitcoin back, and that's just not even scratching the surface. We can go on. I can go on for a whole video about the other shortcomings Bitcoin we're going to have. But if Bitcoin was going to be a store of value, then it made sense to me what the Hexcoin project was doing. What it was saying was that if you're going to be a store of value, and the idea of appreciation, right? Because store of value, whether you're preserving your value, like with gold, or what Bitcoin's idea is, although it expends a tremendous amount of energy to do so. If that's the idea, then you probably want the best preservation tool possible. And the reality of the situation is a lot of people investing in Bitcoin want a lot of appreciation. They're always talking about Bitcoin going to 100,000, 200,000, $1 million, right? And these just astronomical, impossible numbers almost that would dwarf the gold market, right? If Bitcoin could do those things, just totally take it over, and and you know, as this is what people believe. So, um, what then you would have is you would have a situation where people would want the price of their store value to go up and as soon as possible. And so Hex is kind of, although it's not um, one's not able to predict or say that Hex coin will go up to these astronomical numbers. What we do understand is that there is a design to Hex that uh, kind of creates the the right atmosphere for the coin to appreciate in value, right? Um, and so that's all very interesting, right? To consider. But that's all I really want to say about Hex. I've done many Hex coin projects. I'm proud of how well the project is done. I can't say I'm surprised, right? Can't say I'm surprised. So I called the good one on that. A lot of people, are asking me about the Hexcoin project, asking me about, well, I keep hearing this being compared to a scam and this and that. And it was kind of funny to me to hear that because, the reality of the situation is how cryptocurrencies behave. Uh, if I was going to try to box Hexcoin into the box of being a scam, I would have to just put so many other cryptocurrencies, probably like 98%, 99% of cryptocurrency projects right in that same box. And I wasn't quite willing to do that because I don't think they're all scams. I just think they're just bad projects, right? Just projects that maybe don't understand uh, what the market's gonna need. I think sometimes when you're a developer, um, you're more in this kind of fantasy about what you're building is gonna be important to everybody because you can build it. And I think the what the market requires and that area of thinking are two different things, right? And it's kind of like a gamer. Like if I'm a gamer, to me, games are the best thing in the world. And my vision is that everybody's going to be sitting down playing video games and using in-game cryptocurrencies and tokens. But the reality situation is not everybody plays video games, right? Not everybody's interested in your video game. So those things all have to go into the mix. But anyway, Hexcoin at rank number 16 now. I think that number's going to drop. My prediction of being in the top 10 by big payday may pay off, may actually happen, and I would be very glad to see that. Very glad to see that. But if you have been skeptical about Hex, if you feel you've missed the boat on Hex, but you're a big Bitcoin person or Bitcoin maximalist, but you didn't claim yet, right? You didn't claim your free Hex from your Bitcoin. That I think by now we can all pretty much agree that it's pretty safe to claim your free Hex with your Bitcoin. Because if it weren't, you hear a lot of people by now, I would expect, saying that when they tried to claim their Bitcoin, that there was a problem. And seeing that all the flack that Hexcoin project has got over the last year, I wouldn't be surprised if, that I would be surprised if that, they didn't say something like that was, that happened, or I would be surprised that they wouldn't say, that. In other words, it would come up by now if there's a significant problem with that. I think too what we have to remember with these projects, and I talk about them a lot in my videos, and that's when, and it's unfortunate. It's part of a issue and problem in capitalism, and let me explain it this way. It is it is more profitable for some not to see progress in cryptocurrency, similar to the one of the setbacks of capitalism being, if I can produce you a product that'll last you a lifetime, is it in my best interest to do that? Seeing that if I do that, then I can't make money off you as a recurrent customer, right? Because what I've done is I've created something, I built something for you that doesn't break down, that doesn't wear and tear, right? So you don't continually spend money with me. Whereas, in cryptocurrency, if I got all my bags in a, let's say it could be an inferior product, it could be a dinosaur, it could be something that in the future doesn't make sense or won't work. But if I'm holding all of my bags in that cryptocurrency, in those millions, to to a great degree, I still have to hope that at the very least it continues to go up anyway, or that at least I can sell it high enough to get my money out. Right. In any event, I'm stuck in this investment now. And that's very unfortunate, because what it means for the cryptocurrency space is that based on that same debacle, we're going to see a lot of people try to stay away from a lot of beneficial technology and products because of money, right? And that can be very harmful to humanity. So that's the Bitcoin project. We took on the early days. I think we took some great inspiration from Hex. There is nothing that we do like Hex, I say, besides where we give out our cryptocurrencies free in relation to Bitcoin holders. So there is an inheritance of the Bitcoin ledger. To say it's a fork, I think we'll be using that term loosely, and there would be no disagreements if a person came to us, or a group or entity, and said we're not a Bitcoin fork, but we can say that we use the Bitcoin ledger. People use the Bitcoin, we get that, and it's deflationary. It has a social network, as you can see. It has a coin listing application, and it has universal basic income. So it has a lot of very interesting things to it that I think people would like. And but I think much like Hexcoin, in the beginning, there are going to be some issues with people who will protect their cryptocurrencies simply because their money is there, not because the cryptocurrencies are great, not because they're going to be great. Many of them can't onboard. Many of them have complicated wallets that they can't realistically believe normal people are going to use. So they have a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense in cryptocurrency that I see people trying to push anyway. And I have to conclude that that's more done through a development angle than a business angle. And in traditional industry and business, there are departments that have this synergy together, where you have people who are able to step in, handle the business aspects, and then have the development team and the engineering team that handles that. And together they're able to create very successful products. But in cryptocurrency, there are many reasons that's very difficult to do. Decentralization is a big part of it. It is the Achilles heels of decentralization, that a lot of people don't know what their roles are, and aren't incentivized to have one, and set things up. So you have to depend greatly on the community to try to be incentivized in some way to do that. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. So that's one big issue you're going to have. It is just the nature of the beast with decentralization itself. But if you have some type of hybrid, where it's a kind of mixture of centralization where it needs to be, but overall decentralized, then there are products that exist in cryptocurrency that way that have fared a great deal better in certain ways. So it's all very interesting stuff. But if you got in on Hex when you first start, he's one of the early watchers of my videos. I know a lot of people who started with Hex. They probably heard it from me. They probably got it from the education, entertainment, television show, at least initially. Of course, some bigger YouTuber, crypto tubers, and Hex channels came in later and did a very good job promoting Hex. But I'm certainly, definitely one of the original gangsters in the Hex project. And although I haven't benefited as greatly from Hex as I would like to, I think I got thrown off the bull a few times. I certainly benefited uh, a fair amount more so than I expected. So that's a very good thing. But big paydays coming up, guys. I hope you do very well over the big payday. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in big payday. Some are predicting 100% or more gains to people who have held stakes up to big payday. Some are saying it might be 3-4 times, and also considering what the price ahead is going to be. Is it going to go a penny? Is it going to go crazy and go be far above a penny and maybe hit 10 cents or 20 cents? Or is it just going to dump? We do not know. We have no idea. But we're going to find out. And it's been an exciting ride, nevertheless, with the Hexcoin project that has went far beyond the expectations of many, and done very well. So good for Hex. But that's all I want to say in this video, guys. If you like content like this, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to do your research on your favorite cryptocurrencies on the Bitcoinmykcom site, coin price tracking site now. All your favorite cryptocurrencies are there. And the way Hexcoin project was treated during the last year, I would hope that you guys would want to look at coin listing services that have at least been supportive of Hex, right? And I can tell you some of the major ones where Hexes finally got listed on wasn't supportive of Hex in the beginning. But I guess now they have no choice but to come to the party. But let's do our research here on the Bitcoinmykcom site. Let everybody know in the Hexcoin project to come over to our site first to get the proper listing for Hexcoin and do your research from there. We'd appreciate that very much. But that's all I want to say in this video, guys. If you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, as always, take care.